So hello, this video it's a comparison video on Maproom and in 3ds Max and Elk and Grasshopper. So both of the software allows us to retrieve data from OpenStreetMap and turn those data into polysurfaces like these ones to create an urban model. So let's start out with opening OpenStreetMap. So I've picked Georgetown in Penang, Malaysia as just like a reference, personal interest. So we could just go export, and we can manually select an area that we want to export out the OSM data. So let's say possibly that size would be a good one. Then we can just press export, and if that fails we can actually download from any of these. So I've downloaded the Overpass API myself, so this would be the file. So I'm just going to link that into my Grasshopper script. Let's open that one. So let's have Rhino opened and Grasshopper open. So you can see this is a script built for this purpose. So we're going to link an OSM file, and then we are going to from that file retrieve these kind of data. So just go path, and then we will right click and set one file path, and then we'll set to the map that I've downloaded. Okay, so this is going to take a while to load. It's retrieving all the data sets and then drawing all the polysurfaces and lines. So as you see, it's all loading. So what I've done here is I've told Grasshopper to draw all the buildings, the route, the waterway, and also the transport. So for all of these you need a separate set of polylines and a separate set of OSM data that it's gonna withdraw from. So you could go to the OSM data and right click, and then you can select from the feature type whatever that you want it to draw, and from there you can change into a root or any other set of data that you would like to visualize. So it's just gonna load for another second. This error, it's normal because there are some like not very defined curve that is drawn in OpenStreetMap, and Grasshopper only reads closed curves, so maybe some of the curves are not as refined, so doesn't read as a perfect closed VREP, but it works perfectly fine. So when you zoom out, you should see, yep, it's just right here, this set of data drawn. So we can visualize it here. So these are all the buildings that I've drawn, and then that would be all the routes. That's the waterway, and then that would be all the transport. I'm gonna visualize everything. Yeah, so it's a very simple script to build for Elk. So what we're trying to do now, it's actually to create 3D buildings. So Elk has this command. So when you go to the OSM for the buildings, just go right click and then create 3D buildings. This is going to take another while to load because it's reading all these poly surfaces and then extruding them supposedly. Okay, so now it's done. And as you can see, there's a new added output called buildings as trees. So to visualize that, we need to type in a VWrap, and we just link it to the VWrap. Okay. So we could actually try with a smaller file, so for it to run it more smoother. So, okay, so you can see these are all the VWraps. So suppose, okay, let's see. So now it looks like that all of these VWraps are flat. The reason being is maybe it's because a lot of these data, these houses doesn't have the height data implanted in them, and then that's the reason why L couldn't really read it. Yeah, so that's like one of the disadvantage of ELK as well. So let's see what Maproom will give us. So let's open 3ds Max and then have Maproom open with this tab. So what we want is actually to create a satellite image first. So we're still going to use Penang, Georgetown, and just go find location and go search Georgetown and then enter, not Washington, Penang, Malaysia. Okay, so update space, and then we have it. Go into this terrain layer and start to define the size that we would like. We could try it out with 10 kilometers. We press estimate zoom level. And when you go update map images, it will automatically update a satellite map right here. Okay, so this is about what we want. Maybe we could go a bit we could move the direction of the map, then we could update the image again into the area that we want. Oh, looks like it's the other direction, so it's updated again. Okay, this is about right. It looks about right. Okay, and so we would need a new map layer from OpenStreetMap. So let's go into the OpenStreetMap again. We need to set the size to 10 by 10, and then we could actually, for Maproom, it's much easier than ELK because you can select all the layers that you would like to retrieve data from by just checking these boxes. So for building, you check the building, you want the highway, you want the waterway, you want the route, you definitely want the building height and all that. Or you can actually go to full OSM, so download basically everything from OSM data and then use that as your data and draw an output from that. So let's just use the full OSM and see what we get. So let's just press download and draw OSM data. This is also going to take a while because it's retrieving all that data directly from OSM, so you don't really need to download anything from the OSM website or having like a direct file there. Rather a direct link to OSM, so from Maproom, so everything is instant. The downside of this might be the waiting time, or like the downloading time, might take a bit longer than ELK because it's directly, it's instant. So but let's see the result. Okay, there we have it. Alrighty. Okay, so this is all the data that has drawn from Maproom. So the different layers, the different colors actually resembles different layers. So we're just gonna turn this satellite off. Hide selection. We're gonna go to hide selection to visualize it better. So it actually gives us a very refined map where you can visualize from the top. Yeah. Okay. So the next step is to use these polylines, and then from these polylines we want to extrude all of these building data. So remember what happened in ELK. It doesn't read the height data that well. So let's see what Maproom will give us. So what I want to do here is to pick a style sheet. So let's go style sheet. So we want the OSM style sheet. So what that means is it will create a default style sheet for all the buildings and roads. So it will loft the roads, and then it will extrude the building according to the height data from OSM. So we could add our own style sheet with a color for each of the different building types, and whether the highway and all of that, but we don't want to do it right now. And then we will click apply style sheet and then wait for it to style. Okay, you see it's updating instantly as well, so it's drawing all the shapes from, again, directly from OSM. So this is a very nice feature of Maproom. So you can actually visualize the whole development of the city in possibly less than 5 minutes, like 2 minutes. So okay, so all of these are drawing. So it's like, oh, it's reading the height, the color, the different building types. And then this is the scale bar. Okay, so telling me that all shapes are styled right now. Okay, let's visualize it. Alrighty. So wow, this is Penang. This is Georgetown. This is actually what we wanted and what we couldn't get from ELK. Okay, so this meaning that Maproom actually read height information on height data much better than ELK does. And it only took, I think it took less than a minute to extrude all the buildings. Okay, so this is Georgetown. So yeah, conclusion for the comparison between the two software, it's a total knockdown by Maproom, and it's a winner. So download it, install it, possibly pay for it. That's one of the disadvantages. And start using it. It's a very nice plugin for 3ds Max, as very simple and easy to use, and it draws instant data perfectly, or might not be perfectly, we don't really know, but it certainly gives us a very nice model. We could simply just render out, and we could press render, and then we have a model. So yeah, thank you.